Hello, Clarice. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't been live in forever. Tell me why I'm like paranoid to go live. So paranoid. Um, I was so, I don't know. I'm going through phases. We're gonna have to talk a little bit about some tea, or like, I don't know about tea, but I have some updates, I guess. But I've been feeling really different. And I just want to put this on. Just like I used to say in the olden days, I gotta make it bigger. I've got to make the chart bigger because I can't quite see it. I'm pretty sure that this is working. But anyways, I didn't change the tone of the lights this time because I always like my camera changes it weirdly, and sometimes it'll like switch back and forth. But anyways, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. So I need to. Hello, bot. Hello, bot. If you could, can you chat in the Discord? But I think I might be returning to lives on here. I don't know for sure, but I have one of these. I'm nervous. So I have this. It's Nido, sponsored by. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyways, I have a lot to talk about. In terms of why I'm coming back or why I think I'm coming back to lives. But I don't really know how to talk about it because it's like such a long explanation. It's so weird. But I guess we'll start with why I'm so nervous. So basically, like, over the past year or so, especially, I would say probably around last August. So when we get towards like August and stuff of 2024, things started to shift quite a bit. And I went into what I've now been calling my low dopamine era. Basically, it lasted quite a long time. So it lasted from, I would say, around August until July of this year. Hello, Lisa. So I would say it lasted about that long, which is a really long time. It's like almost a whole year. And what did that cause? It, you know, I did have feelings of restlessness in my body. There was a lot of impatience, a lot of rushing, a lot of frustration, and also lack of focus. And primarily in the autumn of last year, I felt like I was drunk all the time. And in some ways, it was good, my bra era, because I felt very emboldened, I guess, by the drunkenness, by the drunkenness of my own estrogen, by the drunkenness of my own body. And it was just like perpetual all the time. So I could do certain things that helped, like with my main channel a lot. And I was also like more outgoing in a way, or more risk taking in certain ways. I don't know how much I want to say on here, but I'll just say like I went to a certain person's streams a lot in the autumn, and I think part of why I could do it was because I was in a low dopamine era, because I was kind of like drunk a little bit, so I could do it even though I was nervous. But in terms of like this channel, I was so not like able to do it, because when you feel like drunkenness and you feel these weird feelings, you don't know what you're going to say. And I knew about the astrology of the time, which you guys know I do astrology as well. And it was really rough. There was this Mars retrograde in Cancer. It was very political. Obviously, it was an extremely political time. So it was very risky to be public or like to say things about it, because the real big issue with it was it was a historical moment, basically, with that Mars retrograde. It was opposing, um, at the time, this is disgusting to say, but Pluto and Capricorn, I believe. Ugh, gross. We're supposed to swear that off and never talk about it again, but it's relevant to this discussion. So I had to deal with that. It was historical, and it kind of had to do with what we do online, particularly on the internet, is what we're going to be remembered for. So I needed to be very careful about what I talked about online. And that was kind of just a no no for going live, because you combine a feeling of drunkenness and some risk taking. You combine that with a historical time period where it's extremely important that you say the right things, or you can be pigeonholed, or, people can see you for a certain way forever, because it was just such an awful, awful time. And that honestly continued into the winter as well. So basically, the low dopamine era, it continued. It hit the floor in December. It was so bad in December. That was one of the lowest points, and I could barely focus. Like, it was so hard for me to continue my main channel in December. It was incredibly difficult to continue the gym, to keep going with everything. It was so hard. And then going into the winter, I started having, we had a new era. So the mid era came in. So we have the dopamine high estrogen era, which was brat. And then we have low dopamine, higher testosterone era. So what did that create? It created a feeling of extreme impatience and anger and boredom, like a lot of boredom that led to anger and frustration. So I just didn't have the best of attitudes. I did go live a few times throughout the winter, but I would get rid of them because I felt like they were stupid, or, I just felt weird about it. And I didn't know what I was doing with this channel. And it led to another factor that we need to talk about. The other factor that we need to talk about is my lifestyle. So over the past year, during this low dopamine period, my lifestyle was really, really different. I was working on so many, no, I know you guys are. I was working on so many different things at the same time, but gosh, I don't know how much I want to actually say. I guess I'll talk about three of them. So the big three is basically, I was working really hard on, well, I guess I can talk about all four. We'll talk about all four. So really what I worked on during this time was basically my YouTube channel and my activism. That was a major one. Then I was working on my weight loss, which is obvious. I was working on making money, or survival, basically. So continuing to work. And then lastly, I was working on, I want to say, like, a lot of issues of the heart, or like certainly like a lot of my romantic perspectives and that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of ways in which I did things that I reflected on and changed. And I thought a lot about a lot of the stuff I'd done wrong in the past and trying to change that. And that was like a lot of work, because as you guys know, like, I do want to get married someday and that kind of stuff. And I want to be able to be taken seriously within that type of dynamic, basically. So I had to work on myself. So I would say that was really the fourth thing. And it was a lot of work. I think, honestly, when I went into my tortured era, like, last spring, not this 2024 spring, it brought in a clarity and a sense of understanding how behind I was in life, and how my disorder had kind of ruined my life, or had really blunted me. And then I had kind of lost 2 years. basically I lost 2020 and 2021, which most people lost 2020 due to you know what, but I also lost 2021. So I lost 2 years. And from 2022 on, I knew I was going to make it. So I started like figuring things out. And when I got to 2024, I had a moment of reflection as I had gone through super morbid obesity. I was kind of done with that. And it was like, I'm really behind. You know, I have issues financially, I have issues, you know, I'm single and 30. I talked about that forever, right? I'm an orange. I am, um, you know, immature in some ways, you know, that kind of stuff. And then I still had a lot of weight to lose. And then I didn't have a career or anything like that. Like I was just very behind, basically, and honestly, kind of socially stunted a little bit too. So my low dopamine era, it kicked in like right at the best time because it forced me to be more extroverted, and it worked. And the other thing it did is it made me be able to do like all these things at once and work on everything at once. I was following my astrologer last year, and he was talking about how the Saturn Jupiter squares were coming in, which how that represented for most people was the recession that we went into around last August. Global, pretty much global. They hid it though, obviously. The higher ups don't want to talk about it, but it was very obvious that it was happening towards last August. And that's what this astrology symbolized. And so basically, it had to do with the fact that you had 3 tiers of activity. So if you could kind of, if you worked it, you could make 3 years of progress in 1 year if you did, if you really pursued it. Most people just kind of sat and thought about things. That was a big one where most people did that. The worst way to spend the Saturn Jupiter squares was to have escapism or to try to like do drugs, for example, and or try to numb yourself throughout the time, which a lot of people did as well, which that would lead to probably a collapse in one's life. But it was very constricting and difficult, and you have to work very hard to keep what you have. And it was really hard to do because essentially I went really hard into this 2 jobs era, and it was really difficult for me. And I was also working on my romantic pursuits, or like my, we'll just say pursuit. I'll be that honest. I was working on that, and I was also working on everything else at the same time. And it was really overwhelming and really hard. So basically I had to stop streaming. You know, I went into a time where I had to be pretty strategic because, again, the political climate was really difficult during that time. I don't think it's like amazing now, but it's still not as bad. People forget how bad it was. I think a lot of people forget how bad like November, December, January were. They were really bad. Even up to March, it was really rough still. And so I had to kind of back off from my lives because I was like, I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. I don't like this. I don't like myself. I don't know. Whatever. I was a mid-sized princess throughout a lot of it. I was very insecure, and it was really hard. And I was dealing with just a lot of layers of bullshit, honestly, over the spring of this year. I had people within my activism acting like I didn't know anything anymore. Out of nowhere, I lost all my credibility. For those of you guys who know that song by Chapel Roan, which I used, you know, I had Chapel Roan as my singer for the Mid-Sized Princess era. But I used the lyrics to My Kink is Karma on like my favorite picture from that era, which is this one. So this picture is so funny to me, and that's inspired by March because I was so angry in March for so many reasons, too many to even list. But basically, one of them had to do with my activism. And the lyrics say, ruined my credit, stole my cute aesthetic. Who knew that we'd let it get this bad when it ended? And what it meant to me was it was fatness. It felt like I was going through like a bad breakup with fatness or even a divorce, basically. And it was really hard because no, hello, John. Nobody had any, like people did not give a fuck about what I had to say anymore. I was constantly questioned, like grilled all the time, especially over the winter. And people were honestly kind of nasty very often. And I was angry and always ready to fight. So it was really tough to actually like handle myself, which is also why I didn't go live because I didn't want to get on here and just be constantly bitching and all that kind of stuff because that's what I did a lot of during the time I wasn't happy. I did a lot of bitching. So, and then I just had to work my ass off basically. And that lasted into June where it was really hard again. Like I had to work really, really hard in June. And then I kind of finished. So I struggled a lot. I've struggled a lot in July just because basically like my whole 32, so basically from July of last year to July of this year, my whole 32, the whole goal was just to um is to make it to mid-July. It was to make it to this point. I was like, you're gonna have to just fight and go and go and go tooth and nail and just try to hold on to everything until you reach mid-July. And I didn't really have a plan after that. So I was starting to approach it and I was like, oh my God, I have no plans at all. I don't know what the fuck to do now. But essentially, what happened is kind of organically, my lifestyle has started to shift and I'm starting to have more time. And it's kind of becoming more similar to 2023 vibes where I had more time. The other thing that's happening is my dopamine is changing and it's going back up. So I don't know if Ba is still here, but I'm pretty sure Ba is. But I'm having a little bit of symptoms of my dopamine being higher or like too high, kind of. And I started to get kind of paranoid a little bit, which is weird. But, you know, hey, we love, right? And then I've been having sleep issues. And when I get up really fast, I have like low blood pressure. And then I'm not bored. In fact, it's the opposite. I get overwhelmed all of a sudden, which is really weird. So, yeah. And I don't really feel angry anymore. I don't feel impatient. I don't feel like things are going too slow. I don't feel that way anymore. And it made me feel like really introverted, which is weird and very special interesty. So I've been like hyper fixated on like many things all the time. Like something that like Eric's been making fun of me for is like I have been low key obsessed with Kesha randomly. And Kesha is not my favorite artist at all. Like Kesha is just she to me she's weird. Like I like a lot of her songs, but she's weird to me. And I have not stopped talking about her for a long time. Like and he keeps bringing her up, but then I keep bringing her up and she like put her album and all this crap and I just keep like I've been listening to this stupid song called Red Flag by her. It's so gay. It is like the most feeler bullshit song. And that's the other thing when my dopamine went up is like my feelings came back really strongly. And I think like after this weird low dopamine era where I was like not really a thinker, but not really a feeler either, I was like numb. Weirdly, I feel like this weird filler pride basically where I'm just like, yeah, I am a feeler and blah blah blah. And like I'm happy about it. Like it's really gay and weird. And so I listen to that song because it's all about like liking guys that have red flags and it's really stupid. It's a really stupid song. But Kesha is a feeler herself, and there's this lyric where she literally says it. Um, she says right here, it's so gay. She says, "The crazy in me sees the crazy in you, and I think I need it. The broken in me sees the broken in you. I just got a feeling. Hey, hoes, let's go." And she literally says, "I just got a feeling." And it's funny because I think too, like a lot of my friends and a lot of people, like a lot of you guys that I've talked to a lot, like especially on the phone and stuff, you guys are thinkers. And it's like, it's weird to like, because even like Taylor is a feeler, she's a total feeler, but she's so calculated and she's so like, everything is so planned. And Kesha's just so like chaotic in a way. And so just like listening to the song where she's like, "I just got a feeling." It's like I feel like I relate to it so much. And I'm like, gosh, like I miss that about myself. Like I miss when I used to just go live, for example, or I used to just do things like this. And so here I am, basically, but I'm like, I'm paranoid because I'm like, oh my gosh, like especially socially paranoid, which is weird. The other thing with my dopamine being normal is like I don't really crave schmorn, as you guys know what that is, at all. And then I don't crave sugar nearly as much or carbs. So I don't need as many carbs as I used to. And it's just really weird. And then I'm not bored. But I do get kind of sad sometimes. But it's a different kind of sad. It's really weird. Because I think like when I was low dopamine, you're so like serotonin-y, basically. So because serotonin and dopamine oppose. So it makes you like obsessive, but you're obsessed in like this very like emotional quality of like, I'm so scared. I'm obsessed and I'm scared. And like, I know that's weird to say, but that's how it feels. That's how I felt a lot over the past year. But then it's like, you're only interested in like very like barely anything, basically like one or two things, basically, and like everything else you don't care about. And it's like since my dopamine has started to regulate, it's like I have all these special interests, and it's like I will look at something and I get obsessed immediately, you know. And it's so weird to me because I went from like everything being so boring to now like everything is interesting, which is really weird. And so I don't know. It's like I'm the opposite of how I've been, which it's like I don't know how the fuck to do that on my channel. You know, it's been happening for weeks. So obviously my channel's fine, my main one, but it's like I think being on here it might help a little bit. Like I was talking to Eric about maybe doing our podcast thing again, but I was like, I'm nervous about it because what if I say something stupid? And he's like, "You don't have to say something stupid." And I was like, "I guess I don't. You know, I guess I don't." I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. So, I don't know. For me, 32 was like this huge tornado of my life. Like it was just like a toiling, working, 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 go, go, go. Like literally two major crash outs. Well, technically three if you count December, but December it was just like a exhaustion, burnout, like totally exhausted. But like March was really a crash out, MSP style, and then June was too. So it was a lot, but I think that what I hope people can understand, at least people in my life or, you know, whatever, is that it wasn't, it was very like fish out of water for me to work that hard and work that much. It's not typical. And I'm not usually a low dopamine girly, you know, and I was throughout much of that year. I mean, the whole year. So it's just kind of weird because I think too, sometimes when you lose weight, especially from such a huge size, people think that certain aspects of you are permanent or like as you change, it's like, oh gosh, you've changed so much. And I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird to me how I don't I don't know how to shift that, I guess. I don't know. Cause I hate these changes. Like I hate them every single time. For me, it's very like tortured lesbian coded. It's very my boy only breaks his favorite toys. Like every time I feel like I go through these shifts, there's always a hormonal aspect too. And it always leads me to it's like the sandcastle I built is destroyed every time. And I think that's my, cheesy INFJ. I build castles. It's like I build structures around things in my life. And so it's like every time it gets destroyed over and over again. And it's really difficult for me. So I feel like that's happening again, but this is probably the last time, which is a relief, because this whole phase of losing weight, it's been so like luminal. It's so bizarre. It is a huge turning point in my life. And so I don't know. It's weird. It's really bizarre because it's like I don't know how to I don't know. I don't know how to shift. But I know what my next era is, so I'm not that worried about it. But it's just like it's this weird in between. July is this bizarre in between phase. And so I don't know what to do about it. And that's where I'm at. And I guess that's why I'm here. Because, again, one of my special interests or whatever, one of my hobbies, one of the things I liked was going live. And over my low dopamine era, I lost interest in almost everything, especially by March. I lost interest in like everything. I don't knit anymore. I didn't play Sims anymore. I didn't really do anything about work, just constantly work. And so, yeah, I can't. Oh my gosh, yes, we do have it there for 20 years. But I don't mind it at all, honestly. I'm a lot more used to Pluto and Aqua now. It was a rough transition, though, for sure. As a Scorpio rising, it was really hard. Those years were rough, and it was hard. But this start is really rough. I think it'll get better in the years to come, but this is a hard year. This is not, I told you guys, you remember, Bot, I told you. I was like, it's going to be better in October, and you were pissed that I told you that. It's like, you got to make it through 10 months, basically. It's not that great of a year. It's good towards the end of the year. October. I told you. I still meant it. I do think it will be a little bit better in August, though. Like August, it starts to get better. July is horrible. The worst months of this year, astrologically anyway, are March, April, especially early April. Honestly, even January and February were really horrible. But they were not like super horrible. Like March was really awful. It was like especially bad. And then the beginning of April was really bad. And then June and July are really bad, those 2 months. So I think I might have streamed. I don't know if I did stream in May, but I think I might have. But I told you guys, I told somebody. I was like, May is like a resting point. Like we need to rest in May because it's kind of boring. It's like May was like a boring month. But then June and July are like crazy and very hard. Hello, Jade. I think that's actually started to derail me. Let's left our point. I mean, there's some like at the very beginning of my main channel where I talked about the diet I was doing, but it's just pro-thyroid basically. So it's just, I honestly, you might not want to hear it, but I avoided seed oils religiously for years. Basically, for one, and then for two, I made sure that I got calcium, salt, some form of meat, some form of carb. So whether that's just flat out sugar or starch or something, but typically you need glucose. And then lastly, saturated fat. So in the beginning of the journey, it was a lot of saturated fat, especially because I needed it. And then to counteract the PUFA, the seed oil fat on my body. But over time, I've had less and less fat kind of. So like at this point, I don't really anymore because I have to be really calorically stringent basically now. But I still have saturated fat. Sometimes I try to like boost it every once in a while. Like this week I had cheese a few days. But typically I've been having like protein shakes and stuff. It's getting very diet culture-y now. So my stuff now is kind of more typical, but I still avoid seed oils. I probably will forever, for the most part. I'm not one where it's like, if there's a drop of it in something, I'll never eat it again. But it's like, I don't think it'll ever be a part of my lifestyle. Like, it'll never be something that I don't consider, and it will never be something that I just go for it. Like, that won't happen. But it's not like I'm going to avoid a drop of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that bad. And I have been a little bit less strict. So I was less strict when I went to Austin this year. Like I had some soy lecithin and stuff, which that is basically pure PUFA in the soy. So it's not great, but it's not typically a lot, you know? And then I had alcohol and stuff, which that never happened, but I did. I did. In Austin, I did. And I enjoyed it a little too much. So I was like, ooh, I enjoyed it so much that I was like, oh, I see why people drink now. I think because I was in a different physical state. Because I think before I was just so hypo that alcohol literally did nothing for me. Like I just felt worse. But then I liked it and I was like, ooh. So then I stopped and I haven't ever since. I'm not going to when I go to LA because I have to still be really strict, especially when I get back. Because it's just, oh gosh, I'm not hungry at all though. Still, like it's crazy. I had a little bit of a phase right at the summer solstice where I was getting a little hungry. But then I wasn't building muscle anymore in the gym. Like I got to a point where I was barely building anything as I was starting to get out of the mid-size era. And so then I didn't have to do it anymore. So then my hunger went down again. And then I think with this dopamine thing, which you can let me know about, but I'm not as hungry. I feel nauseated though. So that's probably why it's kind of making me feel nauseous. So maybe later I'll feel hungrier, but I don't right now. I feel kind of nauseated sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of funny because I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about those aspects of weight loss. And I don't know why I was like the only one to ever talk about it, but I think a lot of people just don't. Okay. That makes sense then. Okay. Yeah. Well, because I've never used nicotine, but I was like, I kind of feel like this is what it would feel like because I did feel tired too. But then I can't sleep. It's like really weird. So it was weird. But I have to be a little bit more careful with caffeine now because caffeine makes your dopamine higher. So I only have my 1 cup of coffee. Like, before I was having, like I'd have, like, a tea or something in the afternoon, like, I'd have, like, multiple things, and I can't anymore. Um, so I have to be, like like I said, the sandcastle is being destroyed, you know, by these shifts. But what I do appreciate about it, I think for me, is my patience kind of returning because I was so impatient and I don't like that about myself. And I feel like I became patient again, or like I start to feel I'm feeling more type B rather than type A. So I appreciate that because I type A is not my natural state at all. Um, it's just not. So it was like very stressful. But like I said, I basically been a fish out of water the past year, you know? And I kind of had to because I had to get everything done, but also it was the low dopamine and it's like, well, use it, use the phases of weight loss that you can and get through. And that's what I did. So it's like when you have low dopamine, you feel restless. You want to move all the time. You want to do something. You're bored all the time. You want to get out of here. You want to do this. I want to do that. Da, da, da. So it's like that feeling. I would use it and I just like pace all the time and walk and do things and push, push, push and go, go, go. And it worked. I lost quite a bit doing that and living like a very hyper work oriented vibe. It worked. It got me through. So it's like, well, I used it, but then it died because I started to get tired. And then now the paranoia. So I'm like, okay. But apparently it takes 90 days to adjust to higher dopamine. That's what I looked up. So we got about 3 months till I'm normal, but till I'm normal again. 3 months, 90 days. So mid October, here we come. Hopefully, I'll be done. I hope I'm done with weight loss, period. I mean, I'm going to do a cut next year, but I need to get to my maintenance phase. I'm so tired. No, it's not too bad. It's not. It's fine. Um, Adjusting to the higher testosterone, that took longer. That took like 6 months. So that took me from like December to June, basically. It took a long time. Um, but that's the thing, when you're coming from these really high places, when your hormones are totally trashed and there's all this stuff, it's really difficult because you have to adjust. It's like every single adjustment, your brain has to adjust to it. And it's like if I had chronically low T for years, then it's fixing, then I'm going to have to adjust. And it's the same thing now with my dopamine. It's like it was low for like a year, and now I have to adjust to it coming back. So it's just so weird. But I'm hopeful that I'll just feel like a human being again. My face cray now. What does that mean? Um, anyways, no, it's a lot. It's been really hard. I would say like my 32 was really hard, but I think it's setting me up for like a fabulous 33. And I actually feel good about this year coming up, which is I never do. I think usually I'm like dreading it or I feel like it's going to be horrible. But I feel like this year is going to be really good. And I think that's one thing too about the dopamine getting back to normal is like I have a little bit of hope. I have a sense of hope and focus. So that's also interesting because I'm able to like, I've been cleaning more and stuff. Because that was also why I didn't want to live stream because my room was kind of messy. and I didn't like it being messy. But then I just kind of started naturally cleaning it. Like I really am feeling like a 2023 vibe, but in a good way, not in a shitty, horrible way. That year was horrible. But I mean, like in a good way, like some of the good aspects where like I was calm on here, or like a kind of homey feeling and stuff. Like I feel like that's coming back. So yeah. But how, especially you, Bot, how have you been? I haven't talked to you in a while, but I really haven't. But I was just like super busy. It was hard, but it's over. And it's like, oh my God, I have to actually like, um, I have to get used to not having to push so hard all the time. What do you think you'll focus on after weight loss is finished? Do you think it'll alter you emotionally that you'll need to work on next? Um, so one thing that's interesting is like my mid-sized princess energy, it's pretty much dead. Like I just don't, I wouldn't say I feel confident in my body, but I feel like neutral again. So very, very neutral, which is good. I was feeling insecure a lot during my mid-size era. So I'm kind of back to a baseline, where I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like I just feel very okay, whatever about my body. Um, I still have goals and stuff, but after it's done, I have a lot of activistic goals I want to do. I need to see what happens within my romantic life. Like, I don't know, to be honest. I'm kind of waiting and hoping on somebody. So I need to know what happens with that before I can make like super long term plans. But other than that, I'm kind of like, I have activistic plans. So I plan to hit things really hard after I'm done. So probably next year, I'll probably take a super aggressive approach, um, because I'm kind of just ready. You know, I think that's like a major thing. And then I want to figure out what else to do activistically, which I have some plans, but I don't want to talk about them. Not that I don't know that anybody like who's super fat activist is watching me or anything, but I just, again, I'm paranoid. I'm a little paranoid right now. So you never know. I'm like, you never know, Alex. Somebody could watch and they could try to plan for what you're trying to do. So I feel that way. So I don't want to say everything, but like I have certain plans. But the biggest thing is like I do plan on being more aggressive. Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm so sure you are. Uh, so I'm not telling you, Aubrey. No, but I am going to talk about Aubrey a lot in January because we're going to kick off the maintenance phase in January. So I should be maintaining by mid-December, but that'll be the maintenance phase era, basically. Um, which I do want to get to the gym. There's a lot of stuff I want to do in terms of the gym as well. I want to um, I want to focus on aesthetics and stuff and do certain things, but it's easier when you're not in a deficit. So I want to do free weights, for example. I want to do different kinds of squats and stuff. I want to work on my ass. I mean, I don't know what you're asking for, but like I want to work more on my ass, basically. Like that's a major thing I'm looking towards. And just kind of adjust, basically. Like I want to see how my skin does. I want to see how my hair does. I want to see how everything does. I want to see how I feel in maintenance. Like I haven't really been in maintenance sustainably forever, for like a long time. Like I barely took a break last year. I took a break for 3 weeks. And then I took a break for 1 week in March, 1 week in April, and that's it. Every other week, I've been in a deficit. And especially since around August of last year, I was very strict. So it's been difficult, basically. So I'm tired of it, you know. I kind of had to be last year because I had so many financial problems last year. And so it actually helped me to be in a deficit financially. So I was kind of pushed to be super strict if we want to be real too, which last year was so crazy. It was so chaotic. I still cannot believe I even made it through last year. I don't even know. This year, it's been pretty awful, but it's been stable. If anything, it's been like boring, like awfully boring, or like there's been a lot of times this year where I feel like I'm staring at the wall, or it's like I'm waiting for paint to dry. Like I've had that feeling a lot this year, which I do think this year is kind of boring. Like there was this huge thing of like, there was this huge thing of like, oh gosh, there was this huge, I don't remember what I was going to say. But anyways, whatever. What do you think you'll focus on after Willis is finished? Do you think it altered you emotionally? So no, I think like as far as like emotionally, no, because I kind of dealt with that mostly in mid-size era. So I don't think so. I think it's honestly, it's going to be more like lifestyle stuff. And then it's coming back to my introversion basically, because I wasn't really that introverted for a while there, you know? Like I still was, but it's like I said, I was living like a fish out of water. So I have to kind of come back to that. Um, but yeah, other than that, that's basically it. So definitely still some gym stuff. Bot says I've been slow and dull. Fair enough. Osiris says, to be a bit blunt, you still seem insecure. When Dee Dee said that comment, your face changed a lot. And you're seeing these comments, long answers to critical comments. Will be interesting to see what you'll while being thin for a while. I'm not insecure, I'm paranoid, which that's different. I know that that's kind of splitting hairs, but we need to be specific to what it is. So I have had social paranoia a lot with my dopamine shift. So it's like I am like nervous, or I do feel like people are trying to attack sometimes, but it is paranoia. But it's slight, obviously. But other than that, like insecurity to me, it has to do with how you feel about yourself. And I don't feel insecure about myself at all. I just feel really introverted, which is hard due to like the freaking work that I do. So that's basically it. It's like a shyness. I wouldn't say it's insecure. It's like a shyness or like a social paranoia. But yeah, as far as being thin and stuff, I will be interested too, just because I'm hoping I can just be aggressive again, you know, because I prefer that. And I don't think I can be the rest of the year. I just don't. And I'm like, that's damn, you know. I do like to argue and stuff, like especially rhetorically and stuff like that. But I don't think I can do it as much. So I have to I'm gonna have to chill, kind of, because I do have less energy. I really do. It's like right now I had steak for dinner, and I had eggs, and then I had carrots. And I'm like, oh, I'm tired. And I get tired earlier. Like I might have to go pretty soon because I get tired. So it's different. But yeah, like I said, when I was in my other era, I was so like angry all the time, and I still struggled with focus quite a bit. And then I was I don't know, just like really wanting to be busy all the time, you know? And now it's like I'm tired. So we'll see. I got my gardening done. You know, my poor plants, they probably have struggled because I haven't been like as on it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But as far as like feeling more introverted or shy or whatever, I have to kind of get over it. So I might use this channel as a way to do that because I have to continue. But it is different. Bot Junior is fine. You want to see Bot Junior? Let me stand up. Cover it up. What if I wasn't wearing pants? That'd be so crazy. Bot Junior is fine. Bot Junior even has another leaf. So you're just a hater. So I have other ones that are kind of thrashed. My money tree is thrashed. This one is really thrashed. You want to see one that struggled? This one struggled like hell. This one really struggled. So you see, that one's like basically dead. Yeah, Bot Junior did grow a little bit. Yeah, so that one was kind of thrashed. And then I got my new one. So you see that one over there. That one is Kesha. And then this one is Pennywise. Right there. Oh my goodness. So I guess we can communicate with the Pennywise in the chat too. So still kind of obsessed, sexual alter? I didn't know if you were still watching. You'd been gone for a while. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Yeah. But anyways. You're not even saying that much, to be honest, so. Yeah, you're really not saying anything. So anyways, that's basically, I think that's a pretty good update. I feel like that's basically what it's been. I have been playing Sims, by the way, Bot. Which the one I've been playing now, it's like, I don't know if you remember Bot, but this is like a long time ago, but I think I did stream it once where it was like this Sims family where I had the dad or whatever, like the husband, he like went all over the town and he had like all this, he had like kids with like everybody in the town basically. And so I'm playing that. And the son, I'm like trying to have him find somebody to have kids with, and he can't because everybody is related to him in the town now. It's really weird because they all died. Like the parents died and everything, but he ended up having a kid with an alien. So he has an alien daughter. That's the game I've been playing on Sims lately. I'm going to see how the alien daughter does when she gets older. But gosh, it's been so long since the like my original Sims family that I streamed. I wish I could, but I'd have to start over probably if I did another Sims stream. Um, well, I'm curious, sexual alter. Like, what is your fascination with me? That's what I'm curious about. So I have a question for you. No, they can't get inbred, but I don't think Sims allows it. So they're all like half brothers or half sisters, like all of them basically. Um, oh goodness. So yeah, I don't know. I still never know what to do with this channel, but this channel is like my hobby. Like this channel is a hobby for sure. Um, and I do like going live. I used to go live all the time. It's just weird. It's weird to, I feel like I'm kind of coming back to myself in a way. Um, oh, well, I've actually already talked about it. Sexual alter. I've talked about it already on my main. I've said it many times where it came from. I'm not going to talk about it today because I don't feel like it, but I'm so glad that I have this stupid thing. Oh, how I resolved it? That took a long time. There's a lot of stuff. As far as like the actual ED, I had to work through every single trigger basically. So you just have to work through every trigger and then you just quit. And luckily I quit before it was too late, even though I was like right at the edge. So I had to like stop, like do a very hard stop. So luckily it fell into place right when it needed to. And then I never did it again. So I never have ever since. And then I just had to deal with it. So that's what I did. I just didn't do it again, no matter what. It's like I just had that attitude of like, no matter what happens, you're not doing it. And so then I didn't. And then I think a lot of people, they just get so scared that they're going to die of anxiety basically. But it's like, I just was like, I'd rather just crash out basically, or I'd rather just freak out than do it again. So then I just freaked a lot basically. And then it was like, I had to go through all the hormones and stuff. It was a lot. It was rough. Basically, it was horrible. But I don't know. Like 2023, I think was, on a physical level, it was the hardest of all the years. Okay, interesting. I've never heard that from people, so that's interesting. Well, that's fair enough. I think that that's fair. So I think that explains it. No, I don't think so either. Well, and I'm just, for me personally, I'm so specific on who I seek it from. So I don't seek it from general population at all. Absolutely not. But like, for example, the guy that I like, I absolutely do seek validation from him, for example. I think to a certain extent, I do seek it like from my mom, that kind of thing, even some friends, but you know, I'd say like, yeah, pretty much that basically. So it's a pretty small group of people basically that I actually care. Um, but I think as far as the public, I spent a lot of 32, like a lot of this year of my life seeking credibility, which is like proving a point. So I pushed very hard to prove a point, to prove that I knew what I was talking about, which that could be considered validation too. Um, so that could also be validation in a sense, but that's more of like a professional validation or like a winning of the argument type of validation. So it's that kind of thing. That's where I could see it. Like I could see what you're saying in that regard, because that's true. Like I had a lot to prove a year ago. I was like, I have a lot to prove. And I feel like I proved it. I feel like I feel more comfortable in that now. So now it's just the next steps, and I have to just keep going and whatever. I think the big thing was getting towards thin, you know, which I'm basically there. So once that's a thing and it's done, then it's like, okay, well, then you move on. Like, I don't think anything will be as well, not anything, but there's not as much to prove after that point because then you have your credibility as an activist, which is important. Um, I don't think you are this ultra confident person because you would just ignore my trolling, but you can't resist responding to it. So you must be getting something out of it. Um, I think I'm just a reactive person. Honestly, I always have been. If we want to be real about it, I'm reactive. I'm a very emotional person and I'm reactive, basically, which it's not always bad. It can be attractive to certain people in a romantic context, for example. It can be attractive. Some people like that about me. I think they call it responsiveness. That's like the PR or the public relations version of reactive is responsive. So that's just me. Um, Maybe still looking for something from other people, which again, probably everyone is. If you have things I don't, and that's like, okay, well, that's fair enough too. I think that's fair. That's fair. You know, I kind of feel that way about Kesha, like the singer, or I'm kind of fascinated with her because I think in some ways she's so like unapologetically a feeler, or like she just doesn't give a fuck at all about the fact that she is super emotional. And I don't know. I'm like, whoa. It kind of blows my mind. And then she's just super extroverted. Like I'm so not extroverted. So like when people are like that, it's fascinating to me because I'm not. She's like a wild partier, basically. Still, and she's like almost 40 and she's still like a partier. Like it's just so that's wild to me. So I can understand it, is all I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's a good point too, Lisa. Well, I think too, sexual alter may be referring to like past interactions. That's what I'm thinking, which I can understand. because there were plenty of times. Yeah, there you go. Um, but a lot of times too in the past, yeah, I agree with that too. I can see both sides. Oh gosh, I can see what both of you are saying. But that's, yeah. I wasn't as much on my main, but I'm not as, I think the best thing about this phase I'm going into is I'm not quick to anger. I'm not as quick. So I like that because that was tough. And I think for me, it had to do with just a lot of hormone fluctuation. It's really hard. Um, but yeah, this will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this goes in the months to come. Like, I still like argumentation. I still like listening to people argue. Like, I love debate and I love listening to debate and stuff. But it's, yeah, I just don't know if I could partake or like be super extra at this time. But I'll have to see how I am next year. I have no idea. I think that's the thing too. I don't know. I have a feeling I'm still going to have a lot of shifts in my next year. I did my solar return chart, Lisa. And one of them that was interesting was the moon is in the 12th, which that has to do with like vacillating or shifting identity throughout that year, which is weird. But also, I think it might have to do with the weight loss aspect too. So it's like some of the year I'm still losing and some of the year I'm not. But the moon is interesting in a solar return because it's always vacillating. It's like a vacillating thing. So that'll be interesting. So maybe it has to do with some phases I'll be losing and some phases I won't. But we'll see. But I think it's a good one. Most of my solar return charts, they looked really shitty. And the one for 32 was just like, you're going to be working all the time, which I was. I did. I was even a Virgo rising, Lisa, for 32. This time I'm a Libra rising, though. That's interesting. So I don't think I've ever had that. So I'm like, okay, we'll see. Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. Mine did. Mine has some good things. So I think this will be a good year for me, but we'll see. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I am less I don't know if reactive's the word, but I am reactive still. Like you can still see because that's just me. I'm an emotional person. Um, but I'm not as quick to anger. That's what it is. I'm not quick to anger anymore. I'm more patient. So you can see the difference, which is weird. And I'm just tired. I'm more tired, which is fine because it's a lot. But I think too, like, I got so used to that or got so used to being that way. It's kind of funny because I always used to say, like, I could never do an ASMR channel, and I probably actually could now because I'm kind of calm. But I'm just healthier too, you know? I really am. Um, but I just have to not, I think for me, what I'm a little worried about, like astrologically, I guess, is just I need to not just because the Saturn Jupiter square is over, I have to not become lazy or like too calm to where like calmness can become laziness. So I'm like worried about that. So that's also why I think it might be good to return to the channel because it can keep me talking and stuff and keep me kind of going because I don't want to lose my ability to talk. And as an introvert, I could. I feel like I could totally just like flop, and that would be terrible. So, yeah. But yeah, I just feel better, honestly. Sexual alter, I do. And yeah, I don't need to be quiet like Bot. No offense, Bot. But I'm an activist. Like, I chose a public job, so I have to like actually talk or to be able to. So I'm like, okay. And I've worked through social anxiety a lot already. Like, I have tons of experience with it because duh. But it's like the only way to do it is to like do it, you know? The only way to get through it is to like work at it, which is what I tell like all my introverts because they're always like, I could never do what you do. Oh my gosh. And it's like, you just have to force it. You literally just have to force it. And then it gets easier. So that's what I'm doing tonight. But it's not, I don't have to push as hard, like, which is weird. I don't have to be so like, and I'm kind of letting that go. And I have to find like these other parts of myself that are kind of buried or they've been gone for a long time. Because, like I said, people may not know this about me, but I'm a type B person, actually, naturally. I'm not type A at all. So, and I was kind of wondering if that would ever come back. And I think it just did. It just hit. The new download just came back. Thank you. Thank you, sexual alter. But I'm so like, I don't know. Hey, Sin, I didn't think you'd be oh, I'm thinking it's like super late. I was literally thinking it was like, I don't know why I thought it was like 2 in the morning, but it literally isn't. I didn't think you'd be up, Sin. Oh my goodness. But anyways, I think I'm gonna get going because I'm tired. I'm like busted and tired now in my deficit. I'm just kidding. But I am tired, so I'm gonna get going. But I will be back. I do plan on leaving it up and etc. etc. So yeah, so we will talk soon. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.